Hello, welcome to my review for the Sipa Brush pens from eBay. This is my first review, so I hope I'll be able to provide as much information as I can. So I hope you enjoy! Okay, so let's begin. These pens come in sets of 3, or you can buy them individually. They have 3 nibs, a small, a medium, and a large, and they go by the coding of SP 56, 57, and 58. Alright, so let's see how they perform. So I'm starting with the smallest brush from the set. It is a SP 56, and I'm just going to be putting down some strokes, trying to vary the thicknesses by going into harder and lighter. As you can see, like the thicker strokes are obviously the when I press harder, and the lighter is when I'm pressing lightly. They do seem to bend a little bit, and you can also get very nice detailed lines with this brush. So it's pretty nice, like it feels good in the hand as well. And you can also make a little textured ones by flicking the brush. I believe these brushes are fiber nibs because they're definitely not bristles. They could be foam, but it does not say on their website. And so here's a close-up shot of the smallest brush. Alright, now going in with the medium. The medium seems to be similar to the small, but you can get, of course, a little bit larger lines, and you can still also get very thin lines as well. So it's very nice and controlled like the small, and you can really get into those little details, but I still find that the small is the best for doing small work. Here's a close-up shot for the medium. As you can see, the lines aren't as thin as the small, but that's to be expected. And now we're going with the largest of the set, the SP 58. With this one you can make a lot of thicker lines, and you can also make a lot of blocked out areas, which it's pretty good for, and it also can do small lines as well, but it might be a little bit hard to control. So I prefer to use these for thicker and bolder strokes and for coloring in backgrounds. And when you flick them, it also makes a nice point as well. Here's a close-up shot for the large. The price of these pens range from around $1.88 in US, and for Canadian it's around $2.41. These are if you buy it in sets, so it's fairly cheap. Now it's time to test its capabilities with water and alcohol markers. So I'm just going to lightly put some little strokes down, wait it to dry. It also doesn't smudge easily, it dries off pretty quickly, which is a good factor. So now we'll go in with the water brush. It does bleed, it's not waterproof, so it will spread a little bit even once it's dry. Now going in with alcohol marker, I am using the Blake Studio brush markers, for that is what I own. And the results seem to be pretty good. It seemed to not bleed or smudge or anything at all, which I was pretty impressed with. And here's a close-up shot of all of the strokes. It doesn't seem to feather very much, but it might bleed a tiny little bit. If you look at it very closely, I didn't notice it much, but it's a little thing to maybe point out. One thing I did notice is with my previous set that I've owned, the the casing or the label seems to kind of smudge off after quite a long time of usage. I've used these for around 3 to 4 months and the label is completely vanished. So here's an example of using it on textured paper. I've used it on my Canson XL mixed media pad, and this is my used one, so these are not like full juiced up. They're actually quite running out, but it can still create cool effects, and it seems to be a little bit harder to use on textured paper. This is how my current ones are performing. These are after usage for around 3-ish months and using like for more than around 40 drawings and some even finished work. One problem I found with it though, with the large brush, is it seemed to fray. The tip kind of got bad after a while, which is a downside to the pens. Alright, now it's time to color in or line in a drawing with these pens and test them out in an illustration. I will be primarily only using these. I will not be using any fine liners or such to do the detailing. From this time lapse, hopefully you can see how the consistency of the ink is, which it actually does a fairly good job. Maybe it's not as good, like it's maybe a little bit streaky, but it's really nice and it gets the job done. I've used these pens primarily for Inktober this year and I've had a lot of fun using them. They've been a nice start to learning brush pens, as I've never used it before, and I definitely do recommend it to beginners, possibly not experienced people, for they can either get the Sakura professional brush pens or the most popular Pentel Pocket brush pen, but these seem to do a nice job for beginners and for learning the medium and to get used to it. Although I have not used the Sakura professional brush pens, I'm actually quite interested to see how they work compared to these, because I'm not sure what kind of nib they have. I think it's not bristles, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. It actually looks quite similar to these ones, just it's a little bit larger. Probably you can get more line widths with it, and it might be waterproof, I'm not sure, but maybe I'll take a look. Maybe I'll see if I can invest in a set, and maybe I might review those for you as well. So as I mentioned, I've used these mostly for Inktober, and I've also used these for a lot of more of my other works, so these actually last quite a long time considering the fact how many times I've used them. And even today I still use my first set, which is the used up one. They may not do completely like clean lines, but they still do, they have a nice feel to them, so I actually feel more comfortable using them versus my new set of those same pens. It's a little bit like, it feels like it's too new to use, but I wanted to use them for this demo because you need to get the right thing. You need to show the right thing. Another con that I've also pointed out is the fact that since these are from eBay, the shipping time might be quite long before you even get your item, so that might be a turn down for some people. I don't know if they sell these on Amazon. I will put a link to that if they do, but I don't actually think they do at this point. So now I'm going to be going in with a larger brush, as you can see in the drawing, and that's where you can actually see how flat the color lays, well, the ink, it lays. It turns out to be a little bit streaky, but it was nothing that I was too upset about. It was just a background anyways. A bit about the drawing, well, there's not really much to say about the drawing. It was just something that I came up with and I thought it was quite cute, so I just wanted to use it for this marker drawing. There's no really any I guess story such thought into it. I actually had a hard time figuring out what to draw for this review. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do an OC picture or something just random. I decided not to do an OC this time because I don't know, I didn't feel like it yet. Probably didn't seem right to me, even though it's just fine possibly. Oh, another thing about the bleeding for this pens, it doesn't bleed as much. Like, I think it transfers like a little bit to the back of the page, but not as much. Like, it won't go to your next page. If you're interested in seeing more works done with these pens, you can check out my Inktober sketchbook tour, and that one, most around like 90% are done with these pens, so you can take a look at that and then you can judge it from there. Now it's time for a very bad try at calligraphy with these pens. I am not a person who's good at calligraphy, so bear with me. I know it's really bad. People out there might be thinking, why is she doing this? It's really bad. But oh well, it was fun. I just wanted to test it also on writing along with the drawing, just so I can cover it, because these pens were actually advertised as calligraphy pens, I forgot to mention. So I wanted to include a little bit of words somewhere. So overall for me, I enjoy these pens very much. As I've mentioned, I'm not a professional at brush pens, but it's something that gets the job done for me, and I've really enjoyed using them. So I would definitely give them a good thumbs up, and I would recommend them to beginners around who want to try out this medium or just want to add a little thing to their collection. So here's the finished drawing. I do hope you found something useful out of this review. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want, and thank you very much for watching. Bye!